Greetings, Scene from RTO here. Welcome to another music marathon on a Wednesday where we take on them big catalogues of more than 13 albums, and today we've got one that is 13. Now this one has been hanging around for a little while, but because this certain person's new album has still not been released and we don't know when it's going to be released. Now I think we all know who we're talking about. It is Stephen Patrick Morrissey, known to us as Morrissey. Founded the Smiths, who were active between 1982 and 87, and then he has had a very, very successful solo career. Wrote some great songs full of emotion, sexual longing, self-depreciation and dark humor, and of course anti-establishment stances, and that's why I think he's having trouble with getting the new album out, which is called Without Music the World Dies. Now it's supposed to have coming out in on December the 8th, but we'll all wait for that. I haven't heard anything. So at the moment we have got 13 albums. Once this album does come out, though, of course we will review it, and no doubt we'll have a tier ranking at some stage as well. So we'll get started. Now, as I keep saying to people, these are my opinions. If you're a huge Morrissey fan and yours is near the bottom, doesn't mean that I'm right. Doesn't mean that you're right. It's just opinions, and it's a bit of fun. So, coming in at number 13, we have the 12th album released in 2019, and it's called California Sun. Now, this is basically an album of covers. So the first one is Morning Starship, which is a song done by someone called Jabriath. Don't know much about them. I've heard the original, and I think Morrissey's version is better. I think Morrissey's vocals are a lot better, so that's thumbs up for Morrissey on that one. Don't Interrupt the Sorrow, which is a brilliant track by Joni Mitchell. It's okay, but unfortunately I'm a big Joni Mitchell fan, so she wins that one. Only Pawn in Their Game is a Bob Dylan song, and once again a Bob Dylan song covered very well. Actually, it's one of my favourite songs on this album. Suffer the Little Children, which is by Buffy Santa Marie. It's okay, but I prefer the original version. Days of Delusion, which is a Phil Ox song. No, it's not a bad version. I like both versions, and I think this is good. It's Over, which is a Roy Orbison song. No, there's only one person that can sing that, and that's Roy Orbison. Wedding Bell Blues, which is by Laura Nyro. It's good, but it's not as good as Laura's. Then we have a song called Loneliness Remembers What Happiness Forgets. It's a Burt Bacharach song, made really famous by Alison Durbin. Keeps it in the same vein as the original. It's okay. Then we have Lady Willpower, which was a Jerry Puckett and the Union Gap. My actually favourite song on this album. He does a great version of this, does it justice. Very good version of it. When You Close Your Eyes, which is a Carly Simon song, I don't think he does a bad job on that. Then there's Lenny's Tune by Nico. I like this better than Nico's version. Then we have Some Say I Got Devil, which is by Melanie, or Melanie Safaka. This is really dreary. Melanie's far better, of course. Unfortunately, on that one. For a covers album, it isn't that bad. There's a few songs that don't work, but on the whole, it's pretty good. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 5 out of 10. Okay then, coming in at number 12, we go to the 6th album now. Now this came out in 1997, and it's Maladjusted. Performing on here with Morrissey are Iain White, Boz Borer on clarinet, Johnny Bridgewood on bass, and Spencer Corbin on drums. First track is Maladjusted. It's alright. It's a standard sort of song from Morrissey, really. But nothing special, but it's pleasant enough. Alma Matters, good song, great vocal from Morrissey. I really like this. I like the lyrics; they're quite good. Then we have Ambitious Outsiders. It's one of them songs that doesn't really get going. It just lacks something. Trouble Loves Me, pleasant enough song, but just a bit bland. Papa Jack, same as again, it's okay. Then there is my favourite track on here, Ammunition. My favourite one, I love the guitar work here from Iain White. Got a little bit more depth, some nice tones on the guitar. Pretty good track. Why to Receive. I just find this dull and boring. Sorry, Morrissey fans, but it's just a dull dirge. Doesn't do nothing for me. Roy's Keane, not Roy Keane, but Roy's Keane. It's not too bad. He Cried, another of my favourites on here. I like the guitar work again from Alan. Very, very good. Sorrow Will Come in the End, quite pleasant. It's got lots of strings on here and a really interesting vocal. I do think Morrissey has got an interesting voice. He sort of adapts it to the mood of the song. And then Satan Rejected My Soul, my second favourite track on this album. I love that guitar. The drums are pretty good as well. Solid track to end the album. There's some really good tracks on this album, but some of it is going through the motions, which is a shame. But the ones that are really good are fantastic. It's just great stuff from Morrissey. So I shall give this one an RTA ranking of 6 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 11, we go to 2020 now, and to the most current album, until this new one ever appears, and it's called I Am Not a Dog on a Chain. Loads of people on here, too many to mention, playing on it. So we'll just go through the tracks. Jim Falls is the first. It's alright. Still a very strong vocal from Morrissey after these years. Still's got it. Love Is on Its Way. Quite a catchy tune. I don't mind this one at all. Then we have Bobby, Don't Think They Know. This has got Thelma Houston singing on this as well. It's pretty good. I'm Not at the title track. I Am Not a Dog on a Chain. Like the lyrics in this, is that tongue-in-cheek, meaningful stuff. Really good track. Then What Kind of People Live in These Houses, my favourite track on the album. The lyrics are so fun. Certainly goes back to them days in the Smiths, sort of taking one at the establishment. It is a really fun song. Knockabout World comes next. I'm not very keen on that one. There's just something about it. Different sort of track, and it didn't work for me. Then we got Darling, I Hug a Pillow. It's pretty solid, nothing wrong with that one. Once I Saw the River Clean. It's too modern. He's gone away from that sound that you associate with Morrissey and the Smiths. Too dancey. Didn't like it. The Truth About Ruth, good eerie sort of track, lovely arrangement and a great vocal from Morrissey. The Secret music, far too long, 7 minutes and 52 seconds. Very disjointed. The first 3 or 4 minutes are good, and then it just goes off on one. Then My Hurling Days Are Gone, not too bad. Nice little melody in this. Interesting lyrics as ever. It's an alright album, got some really good tracks on here. but there's some unusual stuff on here. This sort of modern dance stuff doesn't do much for me, so I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. I do apologise, I'm really thirsty today. This is my third cup of coffee. It's a bit naughty. It's alright, it is decaf, so I'm not filling myself with caffeine. Okay, coming in at number 10 is the 5th album from 1995, and it's Southpaw Grammar. We've got Alan White on here on the guitars, Boz Borer on guitar, Johnny Bridgewood on bass, and Spencer James Corbin on the drums. The first track on here is called The Teachers Are Afraid of the Pupils, which features Dmitri Shostakovich's Fifth Symphony sample. It's 11 minutes long. I quite like it. It flows. It's got a nice flow to it. It's a bit adventurous to do a track of 11 minutes long in this vein of music, but I think he pulled it off. It's not a bad track at all. Reader Meet Author, a quirky song from Morrissey. Some fun, great lyrics in this. Good song. The Boy Racer. Some great riffs in this. Oh, I think that's a really strong song. The Operation. The drumming on this actually reminds me of some of the drumming in Tusk by Fleetwood Mac. I think it really adds to it. Then we have Dagenham Dave, one of them little quirky songs. Great lyrics about everyday life, which is what Morrissey is good at. Do Your Best and Don't Worry, a really good track. Love the guitar sound on this. Morrissey's vocals are fantastic. Best Friend on the Payroll sounds very similar to the last track. Yeah, I don't know if he was struggling a little bit. Then we have my favourite track on this, the last track, Southpaw. Fantastic. It's a long track, but probably the best long track that Morrissey's ever attempted. Some incredible guitar work on it. It's telling a story. The guitar sounds very much like The Edge from U2. I really love this track. A really good album. Some really strong tracks on here. The two long ones are pretty good. There's a couple that sound the same, but on the whole it's a really good listen. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7.5. Okay, then coming in at number 9, we got a 2006. This is the 8th album, and it's Ringleader of the Tormentors. Joining Morrissey, we've got Alan White on guitar as usual, Boz Borer on guitar, we've got Jess Tobias on guitars now, Gary Day does the bass, Matt Chamberlain drums, and we've got Michael Farrell on piano, and the string arrangements done by the one and only Ennio Morricone on the track Dear God Please Help Me. So the first track on this one is I Will See You in a Far Off Places. Now I think this is one of the most ambient tracks that Morrissey's done. It's a really nice track. Very deep, meaningful, wonderful lyric. Then we have Dear God Please Help Me. This is the track that's got the string arrangements done by Ennio Morricone. Very good. I love the church organ on this. This is another very ambient track. It's my favourite track on the album. You Have Killed Me. Great bass line on here. The guitars work is great. Another great song from Morrissey. I really like that one. The Youngest Was the Most Loved. Love the start of this. It's a nice bass line. The guitars come in. Very sweet sound. And you've got this lovely vocal from Morrissey. In the future, when it all's well, it sounds very Smiths, very early Smiths sound, and I like it. The Father Who Must Be Killed. Interesting lyrics, not a particular favourite of mine. I don't like it. I don't like the content at all. Life is a pigsty. It's a little bit too long. This is. It's 7 minutes. It just, the middle bit doesn't need to be there. I'll Never Be Anybody's Hero Now is the next track. Very solid track. You know it's a Morrissey song within about 4 seconds. It's got the usual traits, the nice guitar, the great vocal. Good track. On the Streets That I Roam. Interesting track this is. Nice piece of guitar at the beginning, some really strong riffs. This was quite rocky for Morrissey. I think this is as heavy that Morrissey gets. To Me You're an Art of Work. What a moody song this is. It's ambient, but it's really moving. The next track, I Just Want to See the Boy Happy. Really good start. Very Brit pop in places. Not too bad at all. And the last track, At Last I Am Born. Like the start of this, it's very theatrical. I like the guitar on this. It's a really good track to end the album, and it's a great vocal from Morrissey. This is a really good album. It's got some really solid songs on this. They're all pretty good on this one. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7.6. Okay, coming in at number 8, I've got the second album from 1991, and it's Kill Uncle. And we've got Morrissey on vocals, Mark E. Nevin on guitar, Mark Bedford on bass guitar, Andrew Perezi on drums, Seamus Berrigan on keyboards, Stephen Hart on keyboards, Nawashis Ali Khan violin, and Linda Sterling on backing vocals. First track on here is called Ah Frank. This one's alright. I like the drumming's a little bit hollow. It needs a little bit more oomph, but the bass is really good. Asian Rut, not a very interesting track. Probably my least favourite on the album. Sing Your Life, quirky, nice drumming on this, good track, good vocal from Morrissey as ever. We got Mute Witness, really different sort of sound. I like the acoustic guitars on this, and it's one of my favourite tracks on this album. King Lear, the strings are good. It's a nice gentle track, and Morrissey sounds great on this. Then we got Found, a little short track. Don't know if this was left over from his Smith's days, because it's very, very similar. Then we get Driving Your Girlfriend Home. I love this track, my favourite on the album. I love the drumming. I like that sort of chinky sort of percussion on this. Really adds to the track. The Hearth Truce of the Camarai, another good track. The bass line on this is fantastic. Pretty good. And then we got I'm in brackets, the end of the family line. I struggled with this one. It's a little bit mediocre. There's a Place in Hell for Me and My Friends. A little bit different from Morrissey. I didn't really like the tracks. Okay, a little bit different from the debut album. More experimental. Some of the tracks worked, but a lot of the tracks did. A lot of people don't like this album, but I think it's quite an interesting album. I know where Richard McCook likes this album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. Okay, then coming in at number 7, we got the 11th album from 2017. It's called Low in High School. Again, lots of people play on this. I counted about 42 credits, so we're not going to go that. It was actually recorded in France in Ennio Morricone's studios. In Italy, sorry, and some of it was recorded in France. So the first track on here is called My Love, I'll Do Anything For You. Love the horns in this. It's not what you expect. It's a really good bass round, a really catchy tune. I Wish You're Lonely, a pretty good track. There's lots going on, so sometimes it sort of loses itself, but it's not too bad. Then we got Jackie's Only Happy When She's Up on the Stage. My favourite track on here. I love the strings. I love Morrissey's lyrics in this. They're really meaningful. Great bass line. That is a great track. Home is a question mark. Really nice arrangement, but a fantastic vocal from Morrissey. Delivers the goods. Spent the Day in Bed. Another of my favourite tracks on here. I just love the guitar work. I Bury the Living. I like this. It's got the cowboy cricket sound, the rolling drums, industrial sort of sound on it. It's really good, bit different but worked. In Your Lap, a very atmospheric song. Love the piano on this, really adds to the atmosphere. The Girl from Tel Aviv Who Wouldn't Kneel, I love this track. One of the quirky tracks. Some lovely piano on this, some sort of accordion in it as well. It's a great vocal from Morrissey. All them young people must fall in love. It's got hand clapping on it. It makes it a little bit cheesy. Apart from that, the track's pretty good. Get rid of the hand clapping on, be more happy. When you open your legs, not a great lover of this. Yeah, Who Will Protect Us from the Police? Like the keyboards in this, quite a political song. Then we have a track called Israel, dramatic song, dramatic words. Considering what's happening out there at the moment, it's quite relevant. That's really good. That was the last track. Pretty precise album. This is some great tracks on here, different sounds, the use of the brass, some heavy guitar on it. It's a very good all-round album, so I am going to give this one an RTO ranking of 8.2. Okay then, number 6. We got the 10th album, 2014. World Peace Is None of Your Business. We've got Baz Boozer on guitar, Q Chord clarinet and sax, Jesse Tobias on guitars, Solomon Walker's doing the bass, Matt Walker drums, tubular bells and percussion, Gustavo Manzor keyboards and trumpet, and flamenco guitar, and Christine Young backing vocals. First track is the title track, World Peace Is None of Your Business. A really good song. I love the keyboards in. A great vocal delivery, some nice guitars. Then my favourite track on here is Neil Cassidy Drops Dead. Again, one of the heaviest tracks Morrissey has ever done. It's really great. The bass sounds good. And Morrissey's vocals on this are really good, considering it's quite a heavy track for him. Then we have I'm Not a Man. Real nice gentle here, some lovely tones on the guitar, and another fine vocal from Morrissey. Then we have Istanbul, typical Morrissey song. It's got the quirkiness, it's got the great lyrics, it's got a good vocal delivery, good track. Earth is the Loneliest Planet. The beginning of the guitar work is a bit strange, but it gets going. It's not a bad track in the end. Staircase at the University, an uplifting track, some nice guitar and drums. Little keyboard run through here is good. Another fine vocal. The Bullfighter Dies. Love the trumpet on this. Got that very Spanish quirkiness to it. Nice bass line. A really short track, but a really quirky one. Kiss Me a Lot. Interesting track. Interesting lyrics. Yeah. He does write some strange lyrics. And that's some of them. Then Smiler with a Knife. I couldn't get on with this. Again, the lyric content's a bit strange. It's got some ambience to it though. But I just find the lyrics a bit disturbing. Kick the Bride Down the Aisle. Once again, some rather peculiar lyrics. But I do like the church organ sound. Yeah, I quite like that. Then we get Mountjoy, acoustic guitar on this. Lots of side effects, pretty good track. Then we got Oboe Concerto, not really ambient, some nice guitar work on that. I think this is one of the best of his newer albums that he's done. There's some great tracks on here. Okay, there's some weird and wonderful lyrics, but it's a very enjoyable album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.3. Okay, the top 5. Top 5 was hard because these are all excellent track albums. So coming in at number 5, we've got the 9th album from 2009. and it's called Years of Refusal. So joining Morrissey, we've got Bosborough again, Jess Tobias, Solomon Walker, and Matt Walker. First track is here, Something Is Squeezing My Skull. Great little rocky track to start off on this album. Like the lyrics, they're interesting, and it's a good little track. Mama Lay Softly on the Riverbed. I like the drumming on here from Matt Walker. It's a sort of rolling drum beat that I like. Excellent little track. Black Cloud. Good track, but I just think the drums need to be a bit more beefy. It's a little bit hollow in places. I'm Throwing My Arms Around Paris. It's only a short track, 2.5 minutes. But it's one of my favourites on the album. It's got some lovely lyric delivery from Morrissey, and it's got a quirky little piano line. Then we get All You Need Is Me. What a great bass line on it. It's quite meaty. Some nice interesting guitar work. Great vocal. Solid track. When I Last Spoke to Carol. I love the beginning. It's got some Spanish guitars. Then the electric guitars come in. The drums roll through. Morrissey's vocal is good. You think he's actually saying that when he last spoke to Carol. Like that track. Then That's How People Grow Up. A very good track. Catchy, hooky tune with the strings, which gives it that extra edge, and again another fine vocal delivery from Morrissey. There's one thing about it, all the way through his career he's always sang well, which is quite consistent really. Then we got my favourite track on here, One Day Goodbye Will Be Farewell. The drumming that really adds to this. It's a long, not a very long track, but it works. Fantastic vocal from Morrissey, and I do like the horns. Very Spanish. It's Not Your Birthday Anymore. Another really good track. We've got some great guitar work on here. Then rolling drums again. Just fantastic. Love the lyrics to this. Just fine lyrics from Morrissey again. You Were Good in Your Time. One of the quieter tracks on here. I like the guitar play on this. It's quite sort of soft jazz on this. Really is good. Sorry Doesn't Help. Very heavy again. One of them heavy tracks that Morrissey has done. Some good riffs. I'm Okay by Myself. It's got that last track on the album, Syndrome. It's okay. Very good album. Plenty of guitar on this. I think this is a very underrated album, in fact. And I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.5. Number 4. We'll go to the 7th album now. Now this came out in 2004. And it was his first album in 7 years, following Maladjusted. And it's called You Are the Quarry. So on here is joining Morrissey's Alan White again, Bosborough, Gary Day on bass, Dean Butterworth drums, and Roger Manning on keyboards. First track on here is called America Is Not the World. I quite relate to this. The lyrics are quite interesting. I'm not going to upset people, but I sometimes you think, yeah, there are certain people from America that think like this. It's a nice track actually. Irish Blood, English Heart. Short, sharp, punchy track. Nice riffs in it. I Have Forgiven Jesus. Really strong vocal performance here for Morrissey. The strings are really good. It's one of his best vocals in a long time. Come Back to Camden, my favourite track on here. It's got that 1940s feel to it, and I really like it. Unusual track, but it's a very good track. I'm Not Sorry, a great vocal from Morrissey. The guitar's good, really strong track. The World Is Full of Crashing Bores. I love this. He really likes to express himself, does Morrissey, and he does in this. It's a nice ploddy sort of slow guitar thing. Great vocal, great delivery all round. How can anybody possibly know how I feel? Really good track. The words are fantastic, and he hits the nail on the head. You know, how can people possibly know how you feel? Really good track. The first of the gang to die. I think this is a really nice track. It's sort of old style Morrissey. The lyrics are quite moving. I don't know if it's personal. I wouldn't be surprised. I love the chunky guitar on this. Let Me Kiss You. It's alright. Not the best track. All the Lazy Dykes. Yeah, very controversial. And when we mean dykes, we're not talking about the ones in Holland. Very controversial song, but it's a nice song. I Like You. There's some phasing in this, electronic phasing. Yeah, it works all right. Then it's the last track is called You Know I Couldn't Last. It's another heavy track. I love it when he does these heavy rock style tracks. I like it. I think this is definitely a great comeback album. He lost his way a little bit, but this was strong and probably his best album of the 2000s. You know, he went through a period of time where he really did go through the mire and not relevant. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 8.6. Okay then, coming in at number 3, we have the debut album, Viva Hate, which came out in 1988. Lots of people on here, lots of cellos and violins on here. So Morrissey does the vocals, Stephen Street bass, Vinnie Riley on guitars, Andrew Perazzi on drums. The violins are done by Richard Costa and Fenella Barton. The cellos are played by Rachel Maguire, Mark Davis and Robert Woolhard, and John Metcalf plays the viola. First track on here is Alsatian Cousin. Great track, very 80s, but there's something about this, some really nice guitar. Then we have Little Man What Now, a short quirky track. I love the bass line on that. Every Day is Like Sunday, another that very Manchester sound, that sort of Smiths. It's still got a lot of Smith sounds on here. Really is a good track. Then Bengali in Platforms. Fine vocal from Morrissey. I love the bass line. It all works well. Angel, We Go Down Together. It's a very short little track. It's got the quirkiness of Eleanor Rigby in here with the violins and cellos. Very good. Late Night, Muldean Street. Got on a bit too long. After 5 minutes I lost interest in that track. Suede Head. I like this. The strings are good. It's like the Smiths with strings, and it really works. Break Up the Family. Interesting percussion on this. It's quite meaningful words. I love the tapping the spoons on this. Well, it sounds like there's tapping spoons. Some nice gentle guitar on it. The Ordinary Boys comes next. Very clever little track. I love the brass, the piano line. One of the best songs on the album. I Don't Mind If You Forget Me. Again, just a really great bass line. Then we have my favourite track on here called Dial a Cliche. The lyric content is fantastic. It is just all them cliches are in there. It's a really good song. Then Margaret on the Guillotine. Sort of carries on from Dial a Cliche. Some lovely guitar and some nice echoey voice, haunting vocal. This was a great debut album. Okay, there's a few bits in here that he's trying to... I know Mark can see what he was doing. He's trying to get away from the Smith sound, but still trying to connect with his fans. And I think it really worked. I love this album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.7. Okay, number 2. This was so close to being number 1. but it's from 1992. It's the third album, and it's Your Arsenal. And on here we have got Morrissey, Alan White, Boz Boorer, Gary Down the Bass, and Spencer Corbin. First track is You're Gonna Need Someone on Your Side, one of my favourite tracks by Morrissey. I love the guitars on this. It's a great vocal from Morrissey. Then we have A Glamorous Glue, another great track. Strong riffs, some really good drumming, a fantastic vocal from Morrissey. Then Will You Let Know, a change of pace on this one. It's got some nice acoustic sounds on it. Fantastic little track. The National Front Disco. Interesting lyrics, but a really good song. Very guitar orientated track. Certain People I Know, quirky little rock and roll style. Love the drumming on this. Simple but effective, and a strong vocal. We Hate It When Our Friends Become Successful. Short, sharp track. Very personal lyrics, I think, and a great vocal from Morrissey. This is just typical Morrissey. This is You're the Only One for Me, Fatty. Tongue in cheek, but he's sort of elaborating. I don't know if it's personal. Funny lyrics. I do like his funny lyrics. Okay, they may offend people, but it's just he's talking about real life. That's what the main thing. Seasick, You're Still Docked, a melodic song, some nice guitars. Then we got I Know It's Gonna Happen Someday. This is the track on the album that lets it down, and this is probably why it's not number one. It's not the best track. Then we have Tomorrow. Definitely that sort of alternative rock sort of guitar sound that the Smiths developed, and he's carried it on with a great bass line. What a great track to end the album. Apart from one song, this is very good. This has really cemented his place as a solo artist, I think. And I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 8.8. So, my number one album. It's the fourth album from 1994, and it's the brilliant Vauxhall and I. We've got Morrissey on vocals, Alan White on guitar, Boz Boorer on guitar, Johnny Bridgewood bass, and Woody Taylor on drums. Now, the first track on here is called Now My Heart Is Full. Now, it's one of those strong songs that really benefited to having some strings on it. I think if it hadn't got strings on it, I don't think it would have been such a powerful song, but it just gives it that extra lift. Spring Hill Jam, there's a lot of spoken word on it, but it actually works. A lot of atmosphere in this. This is actually written by Boz Boorer, as this is a track that really sounds great under headphones. Billy Bird, really good, and the guitar work on here is fantastic. Hold On to Your Friends, my favourite track, probably one of my favourite tracks by Morrissey. I remember hearing this back in the day. I thought, how good this is. I've never heard him sing like anything like this. It's a wonderful song, even though he didn't write it. It's a really good song. The more you ignore me, I get the closer I get. Some really nice guitar sounds and great vocal from Morrissey. Some crisp guitars as well. Why Don't You Find Out For Yourself? It's a short, quirky song, real melodic acoustic guitar in it, very listenable. I'm Hated For Loving. Great song, nice arrangement, some nice words, and delivered well by Morrissey. Lifeguard Sleeping, Girl Drowning, very moving song, very nice words. I like that track a lot. Used to Be a Sweet Boy, great song, puts a lot into this song, delivers and tells this story. That's a great track. The Lazy Sunby, there's some lovely guitar in this. Alan White played a lot of guitar on these albums. He's a good guitarist. So has some nice tones. And the last track is Speedway. That mixture of keyboards and guitars is really good. It's strange, fantastic track. I love this track. Definitely the best album by Morrissey. I don't think he's ever really come close to this album since. There is not one bad track on here. Well arranged, strong songs, some fine writing all round, and it's probably got Morrissey's best vocal performance on any album. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 9 out of 10. So there we go, a little bit of Morrissey. I really enjoyed doing this one because I hadn't heard as much of Morrissey's solo stuff as I had the Smiths. So I've really enjoyed this, and I've got a more understanding of Morrissey now as a solo artist. So there we go. Okay, that's all for today. It's a miserable day. We've got this storm Kieran. I don't know if it'll get down here, but it's not very grim down here at the moment. So I'll be back tomorrow, where we've got a battle royale. Yes, we have got Zeb again, and I'm not surprised this one's gone in because it's one of his favourite albums. It's Downwind by Pierre Morlin's Gong, and David Hunt is put in Bat Out of Hell. 2 strong albums. And we've got Pick and Mix tomorrow, and we're going to have a trip down memory lane because we're going to look at the top 10 singles on the 2nd of November 1964. And don't forget, live stream tomorrow. We're now back on Greenwich Mean Time, so for 1 week only, if you're going to watch from America, you need to tune in at different times. It's 1 PM if you're on the Pacific Coast, and 4 PM if you're on the East Coast. It's only for this week only, because the following week you guys put your clocks back, so you'll be back to your normal times for the live stream. So have a great day everyone, and I will see you all tomorrow.